Most home service and contracting type businesses are running their sales and marketing completely willy-nilly with no process and actual repeatable systems put into place. A lot of the time they're just getting leads, they're trying to call them, they're trying to close them, and anything like that without an actual process and system. So in this video, I'm gonna go over the exact process and sales funnel that you need in your home service and contracting business that I use in mine, and over 400 home service businesses in the Home Service Accelerator have also implemented. Everything from how to generate leads, how to actually close the leads, and putting a process and a step-by-step SOP, standard operating procedure, along the way. So let's get started. So if this is your first time watching me and you haven't seen any of my content before, my name is Steve Hunsaker. I'm the founder of the Home Service Accelerator, where at the time of filming this, we've helped over 420 home service businesses get off of agencies and take control of their own marketing through their Google Maps SEO, running their own Facebook and Instagram ads, doing a bunch of signage and branding themselves without paying agencies or consulting people or anything like that. And I also own 2 separate home service businesses, and I owned a third one back in the day that I've since gotten rid of. So my personal home service business in peak season does over $400,000 in sales a month. And we do exactly this in our peak season to actually make that happen. So let's go through this. When we talk about scaling sales, what I really mean is you get pulled in so many different directions as a home service business owner. You're like, oh, maybe Thumbtack's the answer. Maybe Angie's the answer. Maybe I just need to sign up with Yelp. Maybe I need to pay an agency to run my Facebook ads for me and pay them $1,500 a month or $1,000 a month or $2,000 a month. Maybe the answer is I need to pay an SEO agency, or maybe the answer is I need to go to Google pay-per-click and do that route. Do a bunch of Google LSAs. You're pulled in 1,000 different directions, where what's happening to a lot of you, myself included a few years ago, is you were doing 1,000 different things one time instead of doing 1 or 2 things 1,000 times that are working with scale. And the difference is when you find the thing that works, you just keep doing that and scaling that until it breaks. So let's start with the top of the funnel, which is what everybody watches this channel for, when in reality you should be paying attention to step 2 and 4. But let's start with the top and let's go there. Lead generation. Let me spell it out for you crystal clear. Lead generation in 2025 and 2026, when this video is being filmed, comes down to really these basic things. I'm not saying that there's other stuff that doesn't work, but unless your business is doing $1 million a month, all you need to focus on are these things. It is the meta products, so Facebook and Instagram, and that can be Facebook and Instagram ads, that can be organic Facebook and Instagram, that can be all sorts of those, anything within the meta platform. It needs to be Google, and this would be Google Ads, Google LSAs, Google pay-per-click would fall under Google Ads, your Google organic maps SEO, and all of the other ancillary Google products. Outside of that, it's your signage strategy, your print marketing strategy, and then your content on all of these other platforms. So everything else is a distraction. You're like, Steve, why not Thumbtack? Why not Angie? Why not all that? That's a distraction. I'm not saying those things can't generate sales. So sometimes you guys are watching and you comment like, well, Thumbtack works for me or Angie works for me. That's fantastic. I promise you, without any exception, the things that I'm listing on the top work better, and you would be better off putting more money and scaling these platforms than trying to make Angie or Thumbtack work. So let me just break down why that's the case. When we talk about running ads or content or anything that is top of funnel lead generation for a home service business, the biggest thing you guys have to understand is you have to find a strategic advantage versus your competition. For my Star Wars fans out there, the difference between getting good at Facebook and Instagram ads or just running Angie and Thumbtack ads are really simple. Star Wars Episode 3, if you haven't seen it, it's like 20 years old. I'm going to spoil it for you. Obi-Wan and Anakin are fighting on that little lava whatever place when right before Anakin dies and becomes Darth Vader. Obi-Wan yells at him, Anakin, I have the high ground, do not jump.
I have the high ground. Don't try it.
Anakin says, I hate you, jumps, gets his legs cut off. He burns to death, becomes Darth Vader. This is the strategic advantage that we want to find in our local markets with advertising. So you need to find an unfair advantage against your competition in terms of lead gen. If you're all doing the same thing, The only people that are going to win are the people selling the leads. As we're recording this right now, the biggest advantage you can have against your competition is getting really good at Facebook and Instagram ads, because there is a skill gap there. Everybody can turn on Thumbtack and run ads. Everybody can turn on Yelp paid ads and run ads. Everybody can turn on Angie, all these other things, and run ads. Not everybody can get in front of a camera and film good quality, well-scripted Facebook and Instagram ads. Not everybody can set up a Google pay-per-click ad campaign that actually converts. There's a skill gap there. And when there is a skill gap, that means that someone can get really good at it and win, and someone else cannot be good at it and be like, oh, that platform doesn't work, thus more for the winner who gets good at it. So we talk about lead gen, that's the biggest thing. Stop distracting yourself with the other noise. Stop trying to find the marketing unicorn that no one else has heard of. You're not special. You don't want to be special. You want to find the thing that works, and you want to scale the ever-living shit out of it until it breaks. And when I say it breaks, I mean one of two things will happen. And let's take Facebook and Instagram ads, for example. If you're running Facebook and Instagram ads effectively in your business, you're going to start spending $40, $50 a day, and it's working. So then you're like, okay, well, why don't I spend $60, $70 a day? And it's still working. And then I spend $80 a day and it's still working, 90, 100, whatever else. Eventually, one of two things are going to break. Either you're going to run out of eyeballs when you're spending $100, $200, $300 a day in a small city. You're going to eventually fatigue in terms of you're just going to run out of people. Or more likely, in most of your cases, you're going to have an operational problem where you're going to get so many leads that you're not going to be able to get out to them as fast. Your speed to lead's going to suffer. Your close rate's going to suffer because more time is taken between quote and actual fulfillment of the job or anything else. So your return on ad spend is going to suffer, not because your ads aren't working, but because your business can't fulfill fast enough to keep that positive return on ad spend, or ROAS for anybody paying attention. So first thing, top of funnel, if you get good at these four things, you will print money. So Meta, Facebook, Instagram ads, all that jazz, organic content. There's a lot of other videos on here about it. For Google, depending on where you are financially, like if you're a business doing 50, 100, 150K a month, I would actually tell you to go find a Google PPC or a Google pay-per-click agency in most cases. That is the only agency model right now that I actually agree with still paying someone to do, because if you try to teach yourself and do it yourself, it's a lot of tinkering, it's a lot of monitoring, and it actually becomes really difficult to do it well. And usually the agency fee that you'll pay as a bigger business to have those set up right is worth the actual money you're putting into the machine. I say that you have to have a high enough revenue to do this, because if your marketing budget for Google is $4,000 and $2,000 is going to the agency and the only other $2,000 is actually going into the ads, I don't think it's a good shake to have 50% of your advertising spend going to an agency fee. It makes a lot more sense, like when you're in my position where we do $400,000 a month in our peak season, and I pay an agency $2,000 a month to run my Google pay-per-click ads this year. I pay Bodie and the gang at Striker Digital. This is not an affiliate. I actually just think they're good at their jobs. And so if you look at my numbers, that's where the agency number makes sense, because I'm paying them $2,000 a month, but I'm going to spend close to $10,000 a month on those ads, maybe even $15,000. So my agency fee is a small percentage of how much I'm actually putting into the machine, and so that makes sense. So outside of the Google pay-per-click ads, you have what every single person that is watching this video should be doing, and it's optimizing your Google Maps listing. There's a video on here that we'll link in the bottom, or you can find it in my videos. There's like a 15, 20-minute video about just Google Maps SEO and how to get your Google Maps listing higher. Last Christmas season for my Christmas light business, we had 144 calls for free just from our Google business page. That's just calls, not they clicked our website on the Google business page and submitted our form. That's just phone calls. Just those 144 calls were high five figures of sales from Google. And so that makes a lot of sense. You need to optimize your Google Maps listing. And then the other thing is you need to have a signage strategy. I've made a ton of videos about signage. Yard signs at scale. We're talking about, you say yard signs don't work, try doing 100 a week for 4 straight weeks and then come back to me and tell me they don't work. We want truck wraps. We want vehicle decals. We want door hangers to the closest 5 to 15 houses after you do a job. We want all of that other stuff that I've hammered on for so long. You don't just do these lead generation things when you're in the mood. You do these things every single week and every single month, because it just becomes part of your business's systems. You don't do it when you're just low on leads. You do it every single week and every single month, because that's where you get the amazing results. So when we talk about lead gen, I'm telling you, stop trying to find the unicorn. It really comes down to just these 4 things: Meta's products, your Google products, all of your signage and print marketing, and then content. That's it. That's all you need. Until you're at like 100, 200,000, then you can get creative. And I say you only need those things to get to 6 figures a month in most cases, because when you start to diversify, you're taking away from your fastest horse, which in every home service and contracting business, these 4 things will be your fastest horse. Everything's going to fall into that. After that, though, the key to, now we've understood lead generation, right? That's very simple. There's a lot of videos about it. That's why there's a magnet here in my cool little decal. The next most important thing is you have to have systems. And so we talk about lead generation. That's the top of the funnel. That starts here. What systems do is, let me give you 2 scenarios. Now I'm going to draw on the whiteboard here, so bear with me. Let's say there's 2 companies, identical businesses in my market. It's me and another lighting business. And we both got the same 100 leads at the exact same time. So this company is company B, that's the random company, this is company A. Let's just do some basic math. If I have a system that allows me to automatically call every lead the second they come in, drop a voicemail, have a text message nurture, and everything after that to all 100 leads, and then my speed to lead on my sales process, my speed to lead on my sales process to getting a quote in their hand, and then my speed to lead from getting quotes to following up and approving them and all that jazz is dialed in and all within a minute of each other, 5 minutes of each other, 10 minutes of each other, fast, fast, fast. I'm going to close, let's just say for easy math, let's say of 100 inbound leads, this business might close 40. And then this business, where this business got the exact same 100 leads at the exact same time. This is a hypothetical, but they don't have a follow-up system. They don't have any follow-up sequences. They don't have a speed to lead voicemail dropper. They don't have an instant call connect with their lead, anything system like that. This company's going to get the same 100 leads, but just based on the speed and the other systems that I have in place, everything from Snipey Lead to building the quotes in Jobber, the follow-ups coming in Jobber, House Call Pro, all that jazz. And this company is just an owner taking all the calls from in his car and his truck, trying to do it manually, sending texts, everything out. If this business closes 40, I can tell you with confidence, this business is going to close 20, maybe even less. But the difference here is the leads in this scenario are the exact same and they came in at the exact same time. So for easy math, let's say each business spent $2,000 on marketing this month. So let's say each one of these businesses spent $2,000 each on marketing this month. Pardon my handwriting, not important. The return on ad spend for the business on the left, because their systems are better and their sales processes are better, is going to be 2 to 3 times as good as the business on the right, whose systems aren't as good. And so this is the problem with people. This is why I've never started an ad agency, even though I'm really good at running Facebook ads and all these other ads. The reason I never started an ad agency is because if I start an ad agency, then my performance as an advertiser is dictated on how good the systems of the business that I'm running the ads for are. This business spent $2,000 a month on ads. So did this business. They both have an identical average ticket because business A, my business in this scenario, had way better systems. So sales systems, speed to lead systems, all of that jazz. We closed 40 and this business only closed 20. Yeah, so this business goes, okay, I spent $2,000 and I closed 20 jobs. So I spent, $2,000 and I got $20,000 back. This business spent $2,000 at a $1,000 average ticket. They closed 40 jobs. They got $40,000 back. So this business got double the return on ad spend from the identical ads because their systems and processes are better. And so I want to make it really clear for everybody here. Most of you probably don't have that crazy of a lead generation problem. And if you do, that's the easiest fix. But the majority of the businesses have a lead nurture and follow-up problem. And that's the difference between a positive returning marketing campaign and a negative returning marketing campaign, is a lot of the time it has very little with the quality of lead or anything else you're doing. It's your systems are bad. I used to complain in 2020 and 2021 that my junk removal business's ads sucked and that the market just didn't want to buy and all this other jazz before we got that business ripping, because I was getting leads, and when the leads came in, they were getting emailed to me and I was taking 15, 30 minutes, an hour to get back to them and all that jazz. And I was like, oh, this process isn't working that well. These leads are bad. No, you know what was happening between that 15, 30 minute and hour long window that I was taking to get back to leads? They were calling someone else and someone else was getting the jobs. And so the difference is Yes, lead generation matters, but so many of you guys have terrible systems, and I'm saying that with love, and I'm saying that as a person who runs a business where I see over 400 home service and contracting businesses, inner workings of their systems, and I can tell you with absolute confidence, I have seen businesses that are doing 50K a month, I've seen businesses doing 100K a month, I've seen businesses doing $1 million a month that have extremely broken systems, that if they just fix that, all of their marketing return on ad dollars would get better, and it had nothing to do with the leads. And so this is the top, right? So now we've covered lead generation and we've covered how to actually chase the opportunities and close the opportunities better. Now, this is where it gets really fun for most businesses that have been around for more than a year or two, and you start to build brand in your market. I can firmly tell you I've made videos about this in the past. My first year in business, 95% of our customers came from paid advertising. The second year was in the 80s. The third year was in the 70s. The fourth year was in the 60s. Last year, 45% of our business came from paid ads, which means 55% of our business came from organic marketing. Do you know what's the best form of organic marketing on God's green earth? It is doing a good job. And now that sounds so cheesy, it sounds so cliche, but the vast majority of people that I see say they're the quality service provider, say they demand excellence from their staffs, say they're the best, and then when we actually see their follow-up sequences, we ask them, hey, every time you finish a job, does your office call the job the next morning and ask how everything looked and if everything's great? Are you doing all these little things? And so many of these businesses are saying no, or they don't do that because they're too busy. And so the third part that is so crucial is actually completing the jobs with quality and having systems built in your business for quality. So if a problem happens once, it might be the customer's fault, it might be your fault, it might be just a bad bounce of the ball. If you have your business and you're getting the same customer complaint more than once a month, or maybe once every 2 months or whatever it is, you probably have a broken system. So off the top of my head, the things that made our processes better on the actual fulfillment of the job side is when we got Company Cam and we actually uniformly built our process so that we can replicate every single 5-star experience every single time, no matter what variable was thrown at us on the job site. So let's take my lighting business, for example. One of the things that we found operationally, which was one of the reasons we actually got Company Cam, was we got the same complaint multiple times in a month. And at our volume in peak season, we're doing anywhere between $70,000 and $100,000 a week in sales during peak season. And so for one complaint a week at that volume, it sounds pretty good, but we knew we had a broken system. What was happening for us is my sales guys were completing a quote, and the customer was approving it and putting a deposit, and they were saying, yep, we want warm white and red on the roof line. And then what was happening is they would approve the quote. My sales guys were telling the installers, because we were scheduling 1 week or 2 in advance, oh, here you go, guys, it's a warm white and red roof line. And then the customer would text the salesperson and say, hey, Kyle, actually, we want to switch to warm white, red, and green. But what was happening is we had a broken system where that communication to the sales guy after the notes on the job were already done wasn't getting to the install crew, and they were using outdated notes. And so we had a broken system. And the way we knew we had a broken system was we had the same problem happen multiple times to different customers. That's when it's not the customer's fault, it's the business's fault. So what did? We went out and got Company Cam, where every single time our sales guys finish a job, the night before, the sales guy and the sales team have to approve all of the jobs, the colors and all that jazz. So now we have accountability and everything for the jobs being done the next day, and nothing falls through the cracks. So what Company Cam did is it actually allowed us to make checklists that were smart and dynamic, and actually had us make a uniform checklist to make sure that the sales guy was communicating exactly what was needed on every job up until the date of install. And every time it was updated, the installers could see it live in Company Cam. We didn't have to send text back and forth, because if one thing works when you're a small business, it probably isn't going to be the exact same system as you grow. So as you grow, your systems break because of capacity and volume, and you have to create new systems, and that's what Company Cam was for us. And so what happened for us last year is we did over 200 something installs in about a 50 something day period. We got one customer complaint last year. One. One customer called us last year and was mad at something we did wrong. Now, it's not to say that like we didn't have some like service issues, like, you know, a gerbil chewed a cord, or a rodent of some kind chewed the cord outside. I don't know what kind of animal it is. Maybe a javelina in northern Arizona. Problems came up, but most of the time the problems weren't due to operational error on our end like they were in the past. And so the systems work. And so what you'll find is the more 5-star service you do for these customers and the more you uniformly build systems that make sure that every single thing is done every single time. And I'm talking about the granularity of like when my crews get on site, they have a checklist that says, did you put the A-frame out? Did you give the customer the ornament for the end of the year? Did you give the customer the gift card campaign? Did you knock on the door and greet the customer? Did you walk through the actual scope of work for the customer? Did the customer agree that as you were verbally going through, this is what they signed up for, this is the scope of work going on the house? We are down to that level of granularity on our checklist so that we have accountability on our staff. If something goes wrong, we know exactly who did it. So for example, let's say the job gets done, customer calls the office the next day and says, oh my gosh, everything was great, but we told you guys we wanted multicolor on the roof line and you guys installed red, green, and white. What I would do is then go back to the systems and processes we built, and I would go to the installer and say, hey, did you walk the customer through on the checklist? Because it says, Mason, you said you did, you checked it off in the checklist, that you had the customer approve color. Why did you mark that they approved the color if the customer's mad that the color that you walked them through is not the color on the house? So now we have accountability and guardrails for the employees to actually show, did you follow the process? And if you did, these service issues would not happen. And so when employees start to feel that accountability, one, they take a lot more personal responsibility for stuff because they can't pass the buck to someone else. But two, your end result to the customer, which is the only thing that matters, is a lot more uniform and clear. So you'd be shocked at how many more referrals you get because you do a good job. We have $30,000 residential customers in our Christmas light business refer their neighbors who spend 10. We have $2,000 residential Christmas light installation customers that love us so much that they go bring us to the HOA. Just this week, we have a $3,000 residential job that we've done for 2 years. They came to us, they love how good of work we did on their house. They said, we want you to bid on our entire neighborhood's HOA job, which was like 30 palm trees and a bunch of other crazy stuff, and it ended up being like a $17,000 job. We did not get that $17,000 job from Meta, Google, content, signage. We got that job because we do really good work. There is no better form of advertising than having your customers dumbfounded by how quality the product and service that you're providing is. And so many people get so caught up in the advertising. So many people get so caught up in like, I just need more leads, that they don't focus on the quality of the product, which is at the end of the day is the only thing that matters. Because trust me, as a guy who ran a terrible business for the first 3 years, I used to think to myself, oh, maybe Christmas lights just isn't something people refer their friends to because they're so expensive. No, they weren't referring their friends because we were just good enough to actually get the job done and not get complaints, but we weren't great enough for them to go sing our praises everywhere else. So it's not coincidence that as our business grew, our referrals grew too. Part of that is time in the market. Part of that is just doing a good job repeatedly over and over and over again. So the last thing that is super important, and this goes kind of hand in hand with job completion, is referral nurturing. When I ask you if you do referral nurturing, most of you guys will say this, oh yeah, we do it. And I go, great, tell me about it. And they go, well, after we finish the job, we tell the customer that if they refer a friend, we'll give them 10% off on their next service. And it's like, great. That's every business in world history has some sort of referral program like that, and it sucks ass, and that's why you don't get a lot of referrals. What we do is we implement a bunch of different referral campaigns. The main one that we talk about, and I've talked about it on my content a lot, is we do a gift card strategy. And if you want the details on the gift card strategy, it's pinned on my Instagram at Steve_Hunsaker, whatever my handle is. And then I'll also walk you through it on here really quick. The way the gift card strategy works is really simple. Let's say we do a job for John Smith. So John Smith gets a job done. Right as we close out, we give John Smith 2 gift cards to our business. They're for $100 each. And on the back of the gift card, it says gifted by, and we write with a Sharpie, John Smith. We hand them to John Smith at the end of the job in a nice gift bag. We say, John, give these to your friends, neighbors, family members, whatever else. Your name is on the back of these gift cards. We're able to track when these are redeemed back to you, John Smith, for giving these to your friends and family. Every time these get redeemed, that customer, that new customer gets a $100 gift card from you, so you look like a hero. And then when we get that gift card in our business, we then tie it back to you because your name's written on the back, and we'll send you $100 off to a steakhouse. A $100 gift card to, for us, we use Steak 44. It's a steakhouse in town here. And so what happens is You don't want to incentivize a customer for a discount on your services because they just got your services done. So they're not in the market for your services. So it's not going to make them take action. And so what you do is you give them a third party carrot. So in our case, for him to go give our gift cards out to his friends and neighbors, he's incentivized to do that because he gets a steakhouse gift card in return. So he can go to his wife and say, look at me, I'm a hero. I get us to a steakhouse. And if I give 2 of these out, I get us $200 to a steakhouse where it's basically damn near free. And so now he's incentivized to go do it and be a champion for your brand. But the part that is so unsung about this model is the leads that come from gift cards are most of the time given by neighbors to another neighbor, and they've already talked about price in most cases. And so the leads are extremely warm because what's going to happen, whether you like it or not, is when somebody refers their friend, neighbor, or family member to you, the friend or neighbor is going to be like, oh my gosh, it looks beautiful. What'd you pay? And then they're going to be like, oh, we paid $2,000 for this. So whether you're a pressure washer, roof cleaner, whatever, painter, it's all the same. What'd you pay for that? You're going to say 2, 3,000, whatever your average ticket is. So now if that customer calls after they've got the gift card, they've probably been pretty damn well pre-qualified in the conversation with their neighbor. Then when they come to you, it's extremely warm and your close rate's going to be higher. So when we get gift card redemptions from neighbors, they are damn near laydowns in all of our businesses because they've already had somebody else sing your praises for you. It's the difference between like in Home Service Accelerator, if I tell you how great Home Service Accelerator is and how so many different businesses have come in and transformed their marketing and sales and stopped paying at Facebook ad agencies, whatever, I could say it till I'm blue in the face on my YouTube channel and on my Instagram and tell you how great I am. But what's more impactful to you? It's when you see comments on my ads of paying customers that have come through Home Service Accelerator that talk about how much we've transformed their business. It's when you see video testimonials on our landing pages and things like that of a painter who went from 30K a month to 300K a month telling the masses for nothing in return about how great we were. And so that's the difference. If you think about the reasons you buy something and you think about the reasons that you take action, it's the exact same reasons your customers will take action. You can talk about how great you are all day long, but if you're not doing a good enough job and you're not incentivizing customers to give you referrals, it doesn't matter how great you say you are. The stuff that's going to make your business explode is when you get the marketplace, your paying customers, to be your mini little salespeople out in the marketplace and tell more people about you. Because I'm telling you with confidence, if you just rely on paid ads and paid leads to be your only way you get new jobs, you do not have a good business. Plain and simple. The great businesses are the ones that get organic and referral business to offset what is gasoline on the fire. And so when we talk about building a fire, you need to look at your business this way. If running marketing and sales in a home service business is the equivalent of making a fire out while camping, your brand, your signage, the way your trucks look, the way your systems are set up, that is the fire pit. That is the baseline of that. You have to come correct. You have to look like somebody who's not just a crackhead in a pickup truck. That is the baseline. That is the assumed bare minimum. You should be doing that. Then your organic and your referral business and everything like that is the lifeblood of your business. Your repeat customers, if you have a business that does services multiple times a year, whatever, that is your wood in your fire. That is slow burning, baseline business that is coming in every month, whether it's from referrals, repeat customers, whatever else. Ads and paid strategies are gasoline. You do not build the business with just gasoline. You do not build the fire with just gasoline. You have the fire pit, you have the logs, which is your organic processes and everything else, and then ads should be gasoline on the fire to get it growing quicker. You're not going to build the baseline fire pit, pour some gas in it and light it on fire, because this is what will happen. You will get a flame, but you will get a flame that burns out very fast because you don't want to be shackled to just the performance of an ad platform. You want to have baseline organic stuff coming in, referrals coming in, organic SEO, and then you sprinkle ad dollars on top of it to get the ball rolling faster, to get the fire burning bigger. And that has been the difference for my business. And I promise you, if you implement what I say here, that will be the difference in your business too. So let me be crystal clear here. Yes, lead generation matters. It's very important. But most of you guys have terrible systems, truly. Most of you guys would close a lot more of your leads if you had a system and process in place that actually made sure that everybody got an answer fast and your speed to lead was dialed in. And then after that, most of you guys need to have a really dialed in process on the operational side using systems like Company Cam, all these other things like that to make sure that you're replicating quality product and quality results in whatever trade you're doing. And then the last thing is just implement the referral campaigns. It's so easy. Just do it. You'll be stunned at how well it works. So if you like this video and you want more info like this, please subscribe to the channel, give me a thumbs up, comment below what your favorite part about this video was. And if you're interested in joining the Home Service Accelerator, where you can join 400 plus other home service businesses that are all taking control of their marketing, I have a link to the application below. We do not accept everybody. You have to meet a certain revenue standard. You have to meet a few other different criteria. But if you want to come into that, fill out the application. I'll link it in the comments and it's in the description. Chat with our team. We'll talk about whether we think it's a good fit for you or not, help you scale to the next level. And then feel free to follow me on Instagram, YouTube, everywhere else for all the free content. If you're just watching the free stuff, I love it. Keep watching it. That's what it's here for. But if you want to take the business to the next level, fill out that application and I'll see you guys on the other side. Thank you so much for watching.